welcome to the podcast. How good?
Hello. How good?
How good? How good we people? I'm
Good.
I'm good.
What have you guys been up to?
As you crack a bloody
Fucking
wine.
good old wine. Villa Maria Sauvignon. What time
This-
is it?
Yeah, this basically shows what 7 weeks has done to us. It is now 11
Oh yeah,
a.m.
it's not even the afternoon yet.
It's 11 a.m. and Mitch
Yeah.
is pouring a
Oh, thanks, mate.
glass of Villa Maria. Our sponsor for this week.
Sponsored by the fact that it was
Sponsored
$2
by-
off.
Cheers, mate.
$2 off at the supermarket.
Hey, cheers,
Cheers.
boys. Cheers to
That's
that.
good. That's good wine.
So you've got an acquired wine taste now. I know you drank wine before the...
I actually didn't drink a lot of wine. Like, I drank wine every so often, mainly at parties when it was like free to offer, and you just
It was
take it.
It was
But,
free or you just took it?
Well, it's there for you to drink, so
Yeah.
technically it is free.
It's available.
But no, over the quarantine, Mum was drinking a lot of wine, so she'd always be like, "Oh, do you want a wine?" I'm like, "Yep." So I just end up drinking rosés.
On the
I
wines.
like Ned rosé is fucking
Ned's
nice.
good, yeah.
Ned's nice.
Ned.
Have you tried the Graham Norton one?
Yes.
That Graham
Yes, I
Norton
have
one's
tried
quite good.
that one as well.
GN.
Fuck yeah, that's good. He made that in New Zealand.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure he came to New Zealand.
Put
and
his
made
name
that
on
one.
it.
Thief.
What a
Well, he
bastard.
came here to make wine, and then I think it says like made in New Zealand. or
Did he
something.
come here like plant some grape seeds? He was like, "All right, guys,
Top
I'm
of the
done."
morning.
plant grape seeds?
That's how you do it, isn't it?
I don't know if he planted grape seeds.
Yeah. How long does it probably takes a long time to plant or to grow a grape plant, I guess.
I don't know. We should
we Google
we
it?
should go to a winery.
So he would have there already would have been the grapes.
Yeah.
So it's not like he grew them, I guess, or he grew the plants. Anyway,
Yeah, it's just been a wine
Go on.
vineyard.
Go on.
he's a fraud.
Well, anyway, how's our little isolation been?
Well,
been
you had
nice.
your old mat set up down there with
Oh
exercising.
yeah. I've been I was lucky. I bumped into a guy from Westlake, because right before lockdown, I was looking to get some weights, just because we wouldn't be able to go to the gym for like 6 weeks, and then I went to a workout store and there were like 50 people in the store, and these stores are usually empty, like a home workout store. And I was talking to the guy there, and he said that like everything had been sold out. Like every single piece of equipment
What?
pretty much had been sold out because people were crazy just like buying home equipment
Yeah.
and stuff. And so I was considering buying like a 4 kg dumbbell just because I had like nothing. I was like, should I buy this? And then while I was waiting in the line, I was actually going to buy it. While I was in the line, I bumped into a Westlake guy that I saw had done like a lot of CrossFit recently.
Yeah. Well, I know him.
Kevin, I think it's Bahanli. Kevin Lee.
Kevin Lee.
I can't remember his last name, but his first name's Kevin, and he's been doing a lot of workout stuff lately. And
Okay.
anyway, he's like, "Oh, bro, come to my gym and you can just rent out some weights." So
Fuck yeah.
it was pretty solid.
And you giving them back, or you just?
Yeah, I'll give them back.
Permanently
They're
renting
still there, but
What was the staff thing you had? Were you doing...
oh, that was not for working out. That was like that was just to like stretch my back.
Okay.
Just like put them over. My
Oh, you put it over your shoulders and then like
Yeah,
wrap
and
your
just
arms
stretch them
around
back,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
But no, so I ended up getting a 20 kg kettlebell.
Yeah.
And
Fuck.
at first, because I could have chosen like any sort of weight I wanted, like 12, 16, 20, or 24. And I ended up going for a heavy one because I thought like by the time lockdown finished, I didn't want one that was like way too light. And then on the first day when I was using it, a lot of the exercises were like dangerous, especially the ones where I was like holding the 20 kg kettlebell over my head. It was like, I was like sketching out because it's a real heavy thing, especially dropping it inside. But no, by the end of the lockdown, it felt like genuinely light, that weight.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's good then.
pretty good sign. Made a lot of progress.
Gone stronger.
Good to
Yeah,
know.
it got a lot
Been
stronger
working.
for sure.
Do you train a lot of legs or like explosive training?
Yeah, so I had the 20 in one hand, and I had 15 kgs in the other, and I was doing like one leg pistol squats.
Oh yeah, I
Out on
do
the
them
ramp
as
a
well.
bit.
They're,
Yeah.
they're so much harder than they look, man.
What the hell
They
is a
are
pistol
hard,
squat?
yeah.
It's when you, so for instance,
You shape your body
you,
like a pistol.
lean
kick
up
your
against
arm up
this,
like
yeah, you have like one leg
Is it?
out
I
and you
guess it is,
essentially
yeah.
just squat down with one leg and then stand up with one
What
leg.
the hell?
Yeah. So I was out on the ledge out there, and you just lower yourself down all the way,
Sit on the ledge and then sit
and you
back
just
up.
press up with one leg. It's pretty tough, but
Yeah, man. I was doing that in my garage, but like when I used to do karate, people would do it without like anything, so they'd squat to the ground and then like stand back up. I could never fucking do that. My hips just caved in.
Well, yeah, I'll never get that again.
But it's fucking hard. It's way harder than it looks, honestly. And yourself, Liam, did you work out?
I did. Yeah, I did a little. To start off, Angus was saying, you know, I'm gonna do like 100 push-ups a day. I tried that. I tried that for 2 days, and I woke up after the second day, and I was basically just walking around the house like this.
It's actually a lot of press-ups.
It is, yeah. And so I reduced it down to I mixed it up. I did like supersets. So I saw this dude on Twitter. He was doing one push-up, and then he'd kind of go on his knees and then do like a shoulder thing.
Yep.
Like a little like star jump kind of thing, and then go back down and do 2, and you basically just keep doing it until you can't do more push-ups.
Yep.
And I think it got to like I could get up to like 9. My body sucks. My arms suck. So I couldn't get.
You wouldn't be used to it.
No, I couldn't get higher than doing 9, which was like when you add it up, I think it's like 45 push-ups.
Yeah.
And then you take into account like all the things you do. It's like, oh fuck. And then I mixed it up with like squats. I did a bunch of sit-ups. I got my abs back.
Get your abs back.
You got 'em back.
Looking at I think before the lockdown, I was already considering doing like a little like everyday like core thing. Just because you look in the mirror at night, like when it was still hot, I'd just go to bed with the shirt off. I'm like, Jesus Christ, put on a bit of weight.
What the fuck is this?
But it's like that skinny fat weight, right? You don't see it until you actually
Baby fat.
Yeah, until
That's
you
the
actually
worst,
turn sideways and then you just exhale, and it's like, oh Jesus, look at that, bit of a bloody humpback whale.
Look at the potential on this lad.
Yeah, so I was doing that and I cut down a bit.
Yeah,
which was good.
How much
I
you
was
weighing
already light, but I turned the useless like fatty stuff into.
So you lost weight.
I lost a bit of weight, yeah, and I gained a bit of muscle as well.
How much you weigh now?
Good.
I think I'm at 78.
Fuck, you're not much heavier than me.
I'm not that heavy at all.
Bro,
I'm underweight for my
I
height.
put on 3 kilos.
Jesus.
Really? During the lockdown? Damn.
I'm like 73.5 or 74. I'm like fluctuating between 73 and 74 at the moment. But
That's just be from drinking.
I've actually haven't drunken that much, honestly. I drank a little bit, but I don't know. Like if I was drinking whiskey straight, or I wasn't I only went through I think 1 box of beer because I was drinking wine and like spirits.
You're a nutcase, man.
Yeah.
I think we went through a box of beer within the first fucking day.
I just don't. I'm not like a really big drinker. I guess I don't really just.
Yeah.
I'm like more of a casual drinker, or what do you call it? What's the word for it? It's whenever you go drinking and then whenever you drink, you just get shit faced when you go out drinking. Oh, what's the word for it?
Alcoholic.
No.
Part-time alcoholic.
Yeah, well, you could say it. It's like, is it binge drinking? Is that what it is? You're a binge drinker.
Yeah,
Shit.
I guess that's more about like the single volume. So like what you do in the one time.
Yeah, maybe I don't fucking know. But yeah, I didn't drink that much. But back on the topic of your push-ups, what I was doing was I was doing push-ups essentially till like failure, like normal, and then you drop down to your knee, and then you do like knee push-ups, and then you keep going until failure again.
I think the best home workouts are the superset kind of ones.
Yeah,
where you just keep going until you can't do it anymore.
Yeah, well, that's all you really can do, unless you have fucking equipment, full gym.
I prefer body weight stuff anyway, because it's me. I can do it. Doesn't give me an excuse to be like, I got to be home to do it. I can just do it anyway. Middle of the library on a Sunday, just drop down, smash out 45 push-ups, and then I get kicked out. But I did my exercise.
No, I was coming down here every day, and just sitting in this room until I just started working out. Like it's not something you can do at the gym. Like you just arrive at the gym, you don't feel like working out.
You just sit out on the mat,
there.
looking at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah, or you just I just come down, I don't feel like it. I just come back in like half an hour and like try again. Like you can't do that at the gym. But because I had all the gym down here, I was working out. I think I missed like 6 days from the whole lockdown.
Right.
Yeah. So I worked out almost every day, which was great.
Yeah, I lost.
That's pretty good.
Though.
Yeah. Yeah.
You lost what?
I lost a lot of fucking motivation. I just got sick and tired of working out at home, and I got in my head. I was watching so much shit and like planning so much shit for when we were coming out, that my mindset changed from like home workouts to like being in a gym and like gym training. So that the last like week of training in my house, I was just like, I'm fucking over this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just sick of doing this stuff. I want to go back to this plan that I've got set up for myself, you know?
Well, it's hard to motivate yourself when you can't, go out and see friends. It is often social interactions which like get you going.
No,
You talk to friends about like what they're doing, like how's your work week, and it's like, oh, yada yada.
Yeah.
But if like with Jess, like we just ran out of things to talk about at one stage, and it just got to the point where we're back at stage one, like
Just on the Discord.
what are you up to?
How's
I fucking hate those conversations when you're just like, oh, how are you? How's
But
it
we
going? What are you
said that to
doing?
each other as well. We're like, we really don't have anything to talk about now, don't we?
That's fair though.
Yeah, you
when
can't
I
talk all the time.
when I first got back to work, everyone's chat was just like, "What did you get up to during lockdown?"
Yeah. It's gonna be like that for the ages, and it's gonna be.
I'm like,
And I hated the It got to a point, I think it was like third week, where everyone started messaging each other and saying like, "What have you been doing during lockdown?"
Yeah.
What have you been doing?
And you feel the pressure of, you feel like you have to do something.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. It's like
you feel
you're being-
guilty if you didn't like
Yeah.
learn something or
You feel so
improve.
pressured by your friends that they ask you like, "Oh, I've been doing this. Like, I've been exercising. I've been curing cancer. I've been finding the next
I
true
invented the
serum."
next Tesla car.
Yeah. I made $1 million in shares.
So do you guys think you made more progress on yourselves or less during lockdown? Because I was like,
I think I
for
made
me,
more.
I was working out a lot and like reading a lot, but at the same time, all the rest of my days I basically spent in front of a computer,
Yeah.
just like
I-
watching stuff.
Yeah. I think maybe in terms of the way I want to train my body and like have my body, I think changed a lot for the better. But in terms of anything else, I did jack shit. I just was on my phone watching YouTube or playing Minecraft.
Well,
Yeah.
even if you do
Yeah.
the max amount of stuff you could do at home, you still feel like you haven't done anything because you haven't left the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the worst part for me, I think. Not the fact that I couldn't see people, because at the end of the day, like, I see people and then I see someone and I'm like, fuck, I want to be alone. But it was more the fact that I had no freedom to just do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't just get in my car and just drive to a supermarket or I could drive to a supermarket, but like a mall, or just do what I wanted to do, like anything. I had to like...
I didn't want to do that anyway.
I
Driving to
know.
the supermarket was a bloody chore because you got
I
to stand
loved
in
it.
line.
I'd have excuses just to go to the supermarket.
Yeah.
I'd
just
be
to
like,
leave
oh,
them
I
home.
gotta get some wine or some
Oh,
shit. Just a bullshit
yeah.
excuse to
Need
get
some
to the
gum.
supermarket, just to get out the house. 'Cause I was
Yeah.
just I felt so trapped, bro. Just so trapped inside the house, not being able to do anything.
Yeah, I got cabin fever probably like the third weekend because, like you said, every day was just waking up, having a coffee, sitting down for a bit, and then, just I went downstairs and just sat in front of my computer for the next like 7 hours.
Yeah.
I was doing stuff like I learned a new coding language. I did a course which was like 30 hours, so I got that done, which was really good. So I can apply for like software engineering jobs now. It's the language that Fortnite is coded in.
What's it called?
C++.
Okay.
So the C++ is used in Unreal Engine,
Oh,
which is like the massive Epic Games engine.
Mm.
Anyways,
Yeah.
No, I tried to learn. I was thinking of learning Lua during lockdown. Do you know Lua?
No.
It's like the game logic language. So it's
Scratch.
it's for scripting like game events and like games.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it uses like key values. So you've got like a set of data,
Yeah.
and then you just reference it and it pulls from the data.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was thinking about making like a Dota custom game because I had so much time, but I ended up just watching these Lua tutorials and like just being so confused.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd be lost at first step, bro. We had
Yeah.
nothing to do with that. Do I go into my general settings? and then wait, where do I go from here?
step
What is
one.
notifications? Do I turn these off?
Push notifications. What's this?
The weirdest thing I felt about like you were just saying, you felt like you had the time to do something. A lot of times when I'm like sitting there, I just think to myself like, oh, I could do something. Like I could clear out my wardrobe and do all these kind of things, but
I did that.
you feel like you're running out of time for some reason. Did you feel that? Like
Oh, I got that a lot.
there were
actually.
days where I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't do this because I don't have the time. But it's like,
That's the
I've
weird
got
thing.
nothing else to do.
But yeah, it's psychologically, you just want to do something else instead of committing to something that you don't think you have time for, which is what I found.
I do that
really
all the time.
Yeah.
I do it all the time when I have nothing to do. I'm like, I'm more like, so like when you're watching something, and you get like halfway through it, and you're like, I maybe don't have time to watch this, or like I'm overwatching this, but it's like, what else are you gonna fucking do?
Yeah. It's like, I'm gonna
go
it's
back
like
to it
a
10 minutes later.
could watch a 2-hour movie and it's 6 o'clock. I don't have the time, and I'll get to bed by like 10:30. It's like, what? I'm waking up for nothing the next day.
My sleep schedule was fucked.
Yeah.
I think I was talking to you at one point, like 1 a.m.
That's late for you, yeah.
What were we talking about? I remember were we talking about calisthenic training or something? That's right. You were watching the Robbie Lawler, Rory McDonald UFC fight, and you sent me like a photo of you watching it, and we were talking about UFC.
Yeah,
and
that's
I sent
right.
you
Yeah.
like this barrage of just UFC fights. Like, you should watch all
You
of these.
sent me like 8. I think I watched like 2 of them off the list, but
Yeah, that's right. And we were talking at like, I think it was like 1 a.m. or something, just because I couldn't sleep. My sleep schedule was fucked.
I like got a really good one at one point. So
what time were you getting up at?
I was waking up at about 6 a.m.
Oh shit.
Doing like all my study and then
That's really
being
good.
free around like 9 o'clock and then making breakfast and stuff. And I was like, I felt like really good. Doing stuff in the morning makes you feel like really, really good for the rest of the day.
Yeah, it does.
Just having something to like kickstart your day.
Yeah.
Like with the course, it felt good. And most nights now, like to start, I was probably going to bed around like 3 a.m.
What, these days?
Well, not now, but
To start with.
to start
Yeah.
the lockdown, I was going to bed at like 3 a.m. Because I'd sit at my computer just watching videos. And
Yeah,
then
exactly.
it got to the
Yeah.
point where I'd be sitting at my computer. I'm like, I could just go to bed and watch videos and then fall asleep
Yeah.
instead of
Man.
sitting at my computer 3 a.m.
Oh.
Wow, I can just
That was
I can
cool.
just go to bed. I don't need to watch these videos right now.
Yeah.
My sleep schedule was just getting later and later because I could sleep in during the day.
There was no reason to wake up the next day.
So I'd end up waking up at like
So
11.
dark. I don't mean that to be dark, but there was nothing to get up for.
There was
You had
nothing
no
to live
reason
for.
Yeah.
to get up.
Don't bother.
I was just waking up at 11, and then say I was like, all right, I'm gonna fix my sleep schedule. I'm gonna sleep my fix.
my fixed schedule.
I was gonna sleep my.
You'll get there.
Go on.
I'll just leave it
One
like
more
that.
attempt.
You're
Go
gonna
on.
sleep your
I'm
fixed
gonna
schedule.
Take a sip of
sleep
wine and do
my
it.
fixed schedule. I said to myself, all right, it's getting pretty bad. I need to sleep my fixed schedule. And so
We'll
I'd
leave
be
it at
like, okay, 11 o'clock, let's go to sleep. Problem is, I'd only been up for 12 hours that day, right? Because I woke up at 11. So I just lay in bed, and I just be like, you know when you can't sleep and you lay in bed, and it just gets even worse? You just get like restless and you can't sleep.
You get anxious.
You get anxious. Yeah,
You're like,
'cause
I
you're
can't
just
sleep. I
thinking-
want to sleep. Why can't I sleep?
Exactly. And those
Fuck you,
days,
brain.
those days, I would end up going to sleep way later because I'd try to sleep. I'd get restless. So I'd end up having to like get up and like go on my computer. And then I'm like awake, even more awake. And then I get to bed at like 3 a.m., like 4 a.m. those days. So
Yeah. Well, I had a period of just going to sleep at probably 2 in the morning, like on average, 1 to 2 in the morning, because I was just staying up with mates and playing Minecraft. It was like the only thing I could do, man. It's just like occupied my time without feeling somewhat lazy.
Yeah.
I felt like I was being like creative and somewhat constructive because it was just like I was actually doing something.
Depends on how good your builds are, mate.
It's quality.
Mighty buildings.
I still want to see your build, but
Bro,
Minecraft have taken my account away.
So they like removed his account the whole quarantine pretty much. I'm like messaging him, yo, have you got your account set up? And he's just like, nah, I've been like messaging them, emailing them. Dude, for the whole 4 weeks, like over a month, he's like, I can't get my account back. I can't get it
I
back.
honestly couldn't. I was trying to, because I want to see your world, because I know you've been working on it for a long time.
It hasn't just been me. It's been my mate from uni, my brother, and then Red's hopped on 1.2. But
What was your name again? It was like username 54.
Yeah, username 247. That was. They probably looked at it and was like, "Oh, that's a test user. We'll just delete it.
Get rid of this guy.
We'll just delete his account."
It's still so weird though. I still don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Because you paid for Minecraft, didn't you, on that account?
Yeah, and I even migrated it because that was the
To
problem,
Mojang.
right? So I migrated the account, and we played right before I left for the US, so it was working, but
Microsoft, if you're watching,
Yeah, give me a nice
username
helmet.
247. Sort it out.
Nah, you should hop on, man. It's fun. What was I gonna say? What do you think this has an effect for the NBA? Like, obviously, sports are gonna start coming back. Football's coming back.
Right. The interesting thing about the NBA is once obviously they got to open training facilities first and let the players train, and then they can get back to what they're doing. But they probably, how long do you think they need to train before they're back at the ability of being able to compete?
Well, there's two things, they're rarely rested for this time in the season, but they're also like haven't played together for so long. So
Yeah.
I think they need I think a couple weeks of normal regular season games before they go to playoffs. I think would be the best option.
Well,
They
they should have a
playoffs.
preseason again, a mini preseason, just to
that
play
means
games and
nothing.
get
doesn't
some
go towards
games in to
rankings.
get warmed up and
Yeah.
not break a leg or something.
I kind of want to watch like a few normal games without a crowd just to hear how much shit talking really goes on.
Yeah,
Because you think about it, we might not hear it, but we complain about the refs and shit. But think about it, there might actually be so much shit talking that just doesn't.
I'm
get
sure
caught
there
on
will
the mic.
be.
NBA
Yeah.
TV approach Carmelo and say, when you grab the next rebound, just don't say anything.
Yeah, just
Don't say
fuck
anything.
out of
Yeah.
here.
Give me that shit. Fuck out of here.
How many times do you think you'll hear the N word though?
Oh,
A
way too
lot,
many
a
times.
lot.
You hear it a lot, I reckon.
Just the whole like game's like beep beep beep.
I wouldn't
beep.
I wouldn't be surprised if they introduced like a artificial intelligent like crowd.
That's what my dad was saying for the
Yeah.
UFC. He's like, they should just have a bunch of people like cheering.
So yeah,
then when
just
someone
to
hits them,
add,
he's like,
just to add on top, yeah, because
'Cause they can-
that's you can do that.
Yeah,
Like you could use like the sound of the ball going through the net to like
yeah.
cue like an audio track or something.
and they
Or
should
just have someone
animate.
sitting on a button. Just every time something happens, they just
Oh
push a
jeez,
button.
that's
cheering.
that's a spare job.
They should animate the
Yeah.
2K crowd as well. From 2K.
Have the 2K commentators. Oh, that's a good one.
Thanks, DA.
Skips them.
Well, thanks, Dio.
Did you do that when you're watching the MJ doco?
Yeah,
just
we-
like skip.
skip.
Our chat. So we use the Netflix party thing to like share
Yeah,
our
I think
screen.
it's great.
So
Yeah.
every time he'd come up and he'd be like, "Well, there's a story I have about MJ." Like we'll just have thanks DA on the side. Every time he came up.
After a while, it was funny as. Then I went back to
Yeah.
actually see what he said. But
Wait, I want to see what he's saying.
that documentary has been like a lifesaver for quarantine.
They couldn't have timed that one better.
Oh yeah.
To me, it's proven Mike MJ as being just the best, in my opinion. It's proven.
I think
Yeah.
he's the best competitor of all time.
think
I
it's
was
proven.
seeing a good argument. I've been watching a lot of like fitness podcasts, but like NBA trainers, and one guy makes an argument that MJ is the greatest player of all time, but LeBron's the best player. So there's like a difference.
I guess.
Yeah. So MJ has like the greatest achievements, but LeBron at his best is like the best player. You know? If you had to take like a moment in time, he was like the best player, you know?
Yeah, I get that to a point, to an extent. But I just think MJ's approach to the game is way more competitive than LeBron's. From a standpoint of watching LeBron play like this whole season, I feel like near the end of the season, other than our loss to fucking Brooklyn, that last game, which I wasn't actually that upset about because Brooklyn played really well and we just played pretty shit. But other than that, we bet the Clippers, we bet the Bucks, then the Clippers, and then I'm pretty sure before that we beat the Nuggets, and we bet like a bunch of top-seeded teams, and we looked fucking good. LeBron was playing physical, playing aggressive, and I was like, fuck yeah. But he doesn't do that all the time. And I think that's the difference between him and MJ. MJ would come out and play like that every
Yeah.
game, bro.
The documentary really shows his mindset.
Yeah, and I love that. I
Which
think
is
that's
really amazing.
I think that's the difference, to be honest. And he dominated the 90s, bro. See how many people he stopped getting championships.
Yeah.
Like,
he was
fucking hell.
from what I took from that documentary so far, he put money on anything just to make
Yeah.
it competitive.
He was that
He had a
competitive.
problem with gambling.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
I don't think it's a problem. He didn't have a problem.
Well, he
No,
had a competitive
there was
problem.
there was the thing with the
That's what he
check
said,
and-
didn't he?
That's
I
what
don't
he's...
have a gambling problem. I have a competitive issue. or
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a problem with.
But he always bets
wants to
money,
compete.
so it's like at the same time it's gambling and competition.
But that's just
Yeah.
like, he makes enough money to.
I agree with
spend-
that, though, yeah.
Yeah.
because it's not like, I don't know, I feel like most gamblers are usually like poorer people, right? Because the whole thing with gambling is I'm going to hit it big and I'm going to make a lot of money.
And he did say if you have a gambling problem, that means that you're going bust.
You're going to go broke.
You're running out of money.
Because a gambling problem is limitless, you know? Like, MJ could easily go down to Atlantic City and sit in like the $10,000 tables and lose like $500K in a night.
And he's still good.
And he'd make it all up by selling shoes.
He'll do like an ad.
Well, maybe he does.
A McDonald's ad the next day and he's back like even.
But he bought the Hornets franchise, so like he obviously had money.
I think also what it shows, what showed me at least, is how big the media was back then as well.
Oh my god! Man.
Like I didn't, you know, from our standpoint, we look at it like, oh, the media's fucking everything, you know, like media's ruining players, ruining people. Like we think the media now is like fucked, and just, but it's so bad back then.
It was almost even worse
because that was like the only source of information you got from him was through the media. Like he couldn't go out and share his own story because there wasn't Instagram and Facebook or all of that shit. So it was only through like, you know, sports channels.
Yeah, the only medium he had to express what he wanted was through 50 people after a game asking, like, oh, are you going to retire this year? Are you going to retire this year? And then, oh, do you think your dad got murdered because of your gambling problem?
That was
and I was like, wow. That's harsh,
bro.
That's harsh.
Do you reckon that thing with Horace Grant was legit? How Horace Grant was like, remember he talked to, I think was it Steve? Smith? The journalist? Was it Steve? Not Steve Smith. Sam Smith.
Yeah. About the team problems.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I saw Horace Grant's statement about how he said nah.
Because he was on the way out.
I don't think he really did, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people did. I think a lot of people shared their insight.
They probably sold, like, he would have paid good money, that Sam Smith guy, to
he would have made a lot of money.
Slightest insight. Yeah, because his book was like a bestseller, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. People were so... Yeah, Jordan was like maybe the biggest celebrity of all time.
Yeah.
Would you say? Seeing like his effect and like...
All time? I'd say he's the biggest athlete of all time.
For sure. Yeah.
You think he's bigger than Kobe?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Kobe has more of an impact in terms of the basketball game though.
So during like Kobe's time with like Lakers, I mean I wouldn't know, but
not discrediting MJ, I think MJ's fucking still up there. Like,
from what I got from MJ's doc, you know, you basically had to sell your arm, your leg, your house just to get a ticket to go to his games.
Oh yeah.
And seeing how people reacted to going to see Michael Jordan was like seeing God.
Yeah, bro. Dude, I would have loved to see that guy play live. That would be fucking amazing.
And I talked to my dad about it because obviously we weren't born during the time he was like going really hard.
We won his fifth championship.
And so I said to my dad, I said, "Oh, you like back in the 80s and early 90s, you must have heard of Michael Jordan, right?" And he said, "Yeah, that's all he heard about was Michael Jordan."
Yeah.
Because he was in the States. I think when he was in Houston one time and he saw Olajuwon play, and he was like, Olajuwon was really good live. He was like down on one of the low levels. He said, "Oh, like watching Olajuwon play was just insane." But Michael Jordan was just
bro.
miles better.
Bro, I'd have loved to seen him just go out there, like attack one dude 4 positions in a row, and then just like, and he's running back like saying, "You can't fucking guard me. What are you doing? You need to put someone else on me or some shit." Like,
seeing those classic playoff series, man, those would have been good. That would have been good TV, man.
Man, them versus the Knicks would have been such a good fucking series to watch live.
Absolutely.
Little short bastard Starks.
God
Just
damn.
It's like Pat Beverly.
Starks.
And also, I've been watching so many like YouTube videos on like highlights. I've been watching all Kobe's like playoff highlights. There's no way they can play their playoffs this season without a crowd.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's no way. The crowd makes so much of a difference.
You build off that as a player.
Well, if they do bring it back, I like the idea of them doing the playoffs in the Disney Resort. So what they do is they bring everyone they need in. So like camera, players, trainers, they test them all, right? And then they put them in the Disney World, and then they like cut it off.
Yeah, but how do you do like fucking 50 games? You got to do every conference and every series.
I think
well, 5 games.
If they come back,
that'd be too tall for the rides, wouldn't they?
The Buzz Lightyear one.
If they come back, I doubt that they'd do the regular season, to be honest, because they've already lost a lot of time.
Well, it's already playoffs would happen right now.
Well, playoffs should be almost finishing, right?
Playoffs?
Be about halfway through. It'd be like semi-finals. I reckon.
Yeah. June? I remember June of 10 or 12 was like
Finals.
when the finals was
Yeah.
finishing.
Yeah.
It'd be about semis.
So if you're gonna do the playoffs, that's it. But I think you were talking about needing a crowd, but I reckon just having NBA players in the crowd would be awesome because they're all in the same arena.
Dude, how many times have you watched a game and a team's down by like 15 and they're like, they're playing average, and then like one dude gets like streaky at home, and then you just see him turning to the crowd and the crowd's going crazy and he's just like fucking looking at the crowd like fucking hyping himself up from the crowd.
I want to see dudes do that without a crowd though. That'd be so
We'll
funny.
have that back soon, but this like
just look at the crowd.
just like looking
Pointing
at
at the camera, just
But imagine how cool it would be, because usually players can't attend games during the playoffs or even during the regular season. But imagine you're able to scout like your rival in person, because everyone's in the same thing.
I guess. Yep.
And you've got like, players are like friends generally, and there'd be like banter and shit, and you probably hear that on the mics.
Yeah. No,
I think it'd be a cool opportunity.
I think it'd be better than no one, because I just think no one. It just, I don't know, it defeat the purpose of having home court, to be honest. I think basketball is different than other sports. In terms of
UFC can continue without a crowd.
Yeah, like UFC is, at the end of the day, it's not going to have that much of an effect. Like it might create atmosphere and energy, but it's like you don't need a crowd. Like it's not going to necessarily make one guy better or worse. If anything, it's going to be even the odds, because you're not going to have some dude booing the other people. Like, they're not going to boo him.
Well, you've got Joe Rogan. You can hear him. Oh, he's in serious trouble.
Well, I was telling you, when there was that fight between Greg fucking Hardy, that guy. I can't believe his name's Greg. Like, anyway,
does he just go by Greg?
No, his name's Greg, and he's like 6 foot, 5?
He's tall, dude.
And he's like 250 pounds.
Oh, okay.
And his name's Greg.
Gregory.
I just find it hilarious. Anyway, he was
Gregor.
getting leg kicked the fuck in the first like couple rounds or first round, and then he heard Daniel Cormier say like, "Oh, he's not checking any of these leg kicks." For the rest of the fucking fight, he started checking leg kicks, and he controlled the rest of the fight.
Well, you could hear them on the microphones, the commentators, and then you could hear them outside of the actual mics and from the octagon. But man, I that's watching the UFC like that. I would actually prefer that to watching normal UFC.
Just
like,
the sounds, right?
If you have a group of people with you, so you're watching with like a few other guys, and you're cheering at home, like you don't really need to hear the crowd. The crowd are just there to kind of just go woo, and then scream when someone hits a big punch. But for myself, I'd rather hear the guys take like the big punches and hear it.
It's really purist sporting, right? Like the thing that I don't like about the NBA today, and Bill Burr had a great rant about it, was like you go to a game and it's like, everybody clap your hands, and it's like clap.
He was talking about that.
And there's like all this bullshit like music, and like
all the chanting and shit. He talked about it on Conan, right? When he's talking about baseball, and he's like, we went to like some Washington arena stadium, and they're just chanting the whole time. He's like, what is this shit? Like,
I think that's most of the chanting is to get the people who are less invested in the actual sport to just feel that like they're entertained there.
Yeah.
Like, you can just nudge someone who's not having a good time and just like close your
that's the shit thing. Like if you look at Lakers, like everyone's just going. Half the people are just there to get like a selfie. Like I was at the Lakers game.
I can't deny that. Well, I'm not like I am.
You wouldn't do it, but
well, I would, because I'd be like, fuck, I'm at center watching the Lakers.
But you're also there to watch the game.
Yeah, I'll be there to watch and support the team. That's actually what I was going to bring up. It's actually good you brought that up, because I've been watching a shit ton of like past UFC fights, like George St. Pierre, like when John Jones came out, and the fans are so, you just feel the atmosphere is so different, because fans now are almost people that enjoy the entertainment more than the sport.
Yeah.
Whereas back then, all the fans at the arena were like fucking MMA like fiends, like they loved MMA. So like the
purist,
chant, like you just felt like the atmosphere was way more like of their like what's the word I'm looking for? Like passion, rather than people just going there for entertainment purposes.
Well, that's what happens when something gets, I wouldn't say saturated, but
more mainstream.
Yeah. So people who are less invested start taking the tickets because they're wealthier than the people who.
I just love watching.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Because when Golden State became a dynasty, all the people that ended up going were like Silicon Valley people with a lot of money.
Yeah.
And like, I heard a lot of stories of like people that were actually longtime fans while the team was shit, because the team was shit for a long time. They couldn't go to games anymore, even though they were the ones that were like supporting the team through the shit times.
And they just sold out from people who buy tickets.
Yeah, because the tickets would go up to like $300 minimum.
But when oftentimes when they say, tickets are sold out, you can just, businesses buy those tickets in bulk. You know, they'll buy 20, and then they go around and around the office and say, we got tickets to the game tonight. Do you want to come?
Yeah.
And people will be like, nah.
And
so then it's just a ticket there.
Fucking Sally from Sales who does this never watched
never held a basketball in her life.
Never dribbled a basketball. Yeah. Let's go see it. I want to see Steph Curry dunk.
Let's go, Kobe.
Fucking hell, man.
But I think the other thing is
it's the same with Michael Jordan though. People went just to watch Michael Jordan. They didn't give a fuck about the sport.
But he was that good.
True.
That's entertainment.
But still, it's still like more mainstream. You go there just to watch someone rather than actually like the sport.
But that's the other thing. At least they watched them. Like the awesome thing from seeing the documentary, like how electric the crowds were.
Yeah.
And also, I watched the Ewing dunk in
the Scottie Pippen Ewing one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those classic dunks. You look at because it always pans to the crowd. Every single head is watching. Yeah. And like standing up and cheering.
There's no phones.
There's no one's like phones.
Yeah, now if there's a highlight, like a lot of people would be on their phones, like not even realizing, or they'll just like look up when they hear people cheering.
Yeah,
it's like it's just a different atmosphere because people aren't glued to the game the whole time. You don't have the narrative of paying attention to the game the whole time. Because those dunks came in like the fourth quarter, and they were like momentous dunks.
Yeah, bro. Like
and they
big
were like
turning points in the game.
And it's like everyone's like involved. It's kind of sad. I wonder if we'll ever go back to that.
No,
because
the more technology evolves, the more people are gonna have phones and shit they can pull out. And
people are gonna come to the game with like fucking glasses on in the future. Oh yeah, like watching their own like.
They'll be they'll just be looking at an empty court and they can see the game through their eyes. Augmented reality.
Yeah.
Also, what's confirmed watching the MJ doco and then watching like 2000s playoff games and all that sort of stuff is I think the league now is definitely supporting the stars because there is no contact. I've been watching like so many Kobe highlights, MJ highlights, Shaq, Melo when Melo was like in his prime, even LeBron when he was younger, Shaq, all those guys. Like there's so much fucking contact that they get hit with. And there's no foul.
It should be contact.
There's no foul, man. And now it's like you touch the dude's fucking forearm lightly and it's a foul.
I think it's because there is genuinely less contact now.
Yeah.
So they make more, I wouldn't say precise calls, but it's easier to see when there's contact now because there's less.
I just want to go back to that physicality though, man.
Yeah.
Well, dudes were like
prove who's
elbowing
good,
dudes out of the air in the 90s. And it's like, that's contact.
I don't think that the brutality of what the Pistons and maybe the Knicks were doing back in the 90s, but I just think having physicality and allowing contact, it just proves who is good and who can shoot through that. I still stand by it. I don't think James Harden is as good as what he is because how can you compare him to being a great scorer when MJ and Kobe get those same numbers with people literally having a hand in their face?
It's just not like you can't play defense, it's like you can't really play defense. What you can play is like light contesting. If you make contact, it's like
there's way more pick and rolls now.
Yeah,
you watch back in that MJ doco, there's not many like
good
pick
ball
and rolls.
Movement,
it's more just ISO sort
of triangle offense.
Yeah,
the triangle.
I want to read that Phil Jackson book now though.
It's really good. I recommend it.
11 Rings or something.
11 Rings, yeah. Such a good, because he talks about. Actually, I knew a lot of the stuff that was going to happen in the documentary, just because of reading his book. Like I knew Pippen was going to sit out.
Yeah.
Of the final shot. Yeah.
I didn't know
like
that
that's
happened.
A huge thing, and in the playoffs, your star player refuses to come in.
Your best player.
Yeah, exactly. But I knew that was going to happen, and I knew things about like Jordan gambling and like shit talking players. But if you like the documentary, that book is basically the documentary but more details because it's a book, obviously.
More of his perspective.
From his perspective as well.
No, that'd be good, man.
But speaking of books, what have we been reading since we've had a
Yes.
lot of downtime?
I finished the last 3 Harry Potter books, and then I've started reading the first book. I'm like 3/4 way through the first Witcher book.
The Witcher.
Have you read Witcher?
No, I got it from my brother for Christmas.
Yeah.
On his birthday. He said it was really good.
See,
Slightly different to the show.
slightly different. It's in different time. Like at the start of the book is kind of like the 3rd or 4th episode.
Yeah.
It's like weird, but from my perspective of reading the book, Roy might have a completely different perspective. He might also be a far better reader than I am. Like I'm not gonna come out and say I'm a crazy good reader. I read
You
Harry
must be
Potter,
a really good reader now.
but I found the book. I'm finding the book really good, like really entertaining. But the English is like insanely like
Complex.
advanced, and it's sometimes I can't even fucking read the words. I'm like Jesus.
Yeah.
And then
I hate reading books like
I
that.
find that also I get maybe like a new chapter or whatever it is. It takes me the first sort of page to figure out what's going on. Like I don't really know what's happening,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. And then I pick it up for the rest of the chapter. I'm sweet, but I also find that it doesn't dialect who's talking as much as well. Like you got to try to figure that out yourself. It just like one page will be a whole page of just dialogue between like 3 people, and maybe like 3 times it'll say they said or girl said.
Yeah.
So you're trying to like decipher who the fuck is talking, and you're like, what the hell? But
That makes you go back though.
yeah, other than that, I've really enjoyed reading the book. It's been like
That's good.
really entertaining. But
Have you found you've become like a better reader? You know, like
yeah, I don't know. It's hard because The Witcher I think is a quite an advanced book.
hard book to read. When did it come out? The Witcher.
A while ago,
Which is quite
reasonably
old.
It's
Which is
like 8 books.
90s.
It's like 8
Really?
books or some shit, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I read them all, it's gonna take me a while. They're not very big. Well, from the first
Well,
one's not big.
Yeah, the stories are quite. The first one's quite short. I think they're mostly that length though, like 400.
Actually, that's also what I found. Like each chapter, it'll just like go from being in this one place, and then the next chapter is in like a completely different place.
Yeah.
And
That was like the show though, wasn't it?
I know, but it was just like, what? Where the fuck am I? And who is this? Like, it'll go back between like him talking to like someone at the beginning, and then like what he's doing now, and you got to try to decipher that yourself. It's difficult. But I'm probably making the book sound a lot worse than it really is. But if you take your time, which I have been doing, it's definitely it's worth the read if you like fantasy and you like all that sort of shit.
So you've already started with the video games, which
It would have helped.
I find to understand The Witcher, obviously you can just have micro conversations with all the characters who get mentioned in the books.
You know their voices and shit too normally as well. So I found that with Harry Potter when I watched all the movies, and then when I was reading the books, it was so much easier because I read it in their voice. I somewhat knew what the scene looked like, so I could picture it a lot easier. But then when there were parts that were different to the movie, I could still like picture it because I could picture the characters or picture where they might be, you know. So that's why I really loved Harry Potter. But yeah, that's why I can't give a.
Have you finished The Witcher, or are you still?
No, I think it's like 280 pages, and I might be at like page 200 or just before that.
Yep.
But I haven't obviously I haven't watched any other season because they haven't come out, and I think the first book's based on the first season.
Yep.
So I have no like physical description of the next book. So it'll be interesting to see if I go to reading that before I watch the series, if I actually enjoy it, because I don't have a great imagination, so it might be hard for me to like envision a scene when I don't already know what it looks like.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You guys been reading?
Yeah, I've been reading. I've got the book behind me actually. Well, I've been doing rereading, which is pretty. I don't know if it's a good idea.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Rereading.
No, rereading's always
No,
good.
it's good. If you rewatch a show, you can reread a book.
So in the lockdown, I read I think 4 books.
Yep.
But I didn't read a single new book.
That's fair enough.
But yeah, no, they're great books. So I read this book,
Anthony
Kiedis' Scar Tissue, which one of you can take home if you want. This is a really good book. It's a really good book about, first of all, how crazy life is for a young drug addict in California.
Drug addicts.
Yeah. It's like it is brutal and it's real, but it sounds like
street, just shooting heroin.
Oh, dude, the stories he goes into, like,
literally all the money he spends, he always earns about $500 just to go buy heroin. And
yeah, when he was younger, yeah, because when they were little, they were a smaller band. They'd make like $300 for a show, and you just take the $300, go out to the street,
buy a fucking bit of heroin.
As he got richer, he would go on 6 or 7 day binges.
Fucking
6
hell.
or 7 days in a row where you basically stay up for the whole time. And you're basically,
Christ.
you get high and you're like, he says like, all right, time to stop. And then obviously with an addiction, like you can't stop. But I'm just surprised, like seeing interviews of him now, given the stories, that he's not that messed up. If you hear what he's actually done. But it's also a good story about, like, I think overcoming addiction.
Yeah.
Because he went from being in this like really bad place to a point where you expect he should have died from the drugs, and you think he's in that deep of a hole where like he'll never come out.
Yeah.
It's that bad, but then he finds a way to get clean, and he ends up releasing like Californication and all the other great records.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the little stories he tells is just so good. So that's
Drugs aren't that bad, kids.
that's what he says. He says like, would I trade it?
Drugs.
Like, yes, drugs have been really bad for me, but he's like, all the things I've learned, like, would I trade it for anything? Like, he says like he wouldn't trade all those drug addictions.
Fair enough.
Which is pretty crazy.
In his opinion, like, why
Things
would he go
worked out
back?
well.
It worked out
Yeah.
well. So,
But one of his band members died early on,
yeah.
and he was so fucked up at the time that he didn't attend the funeral.
Jesus.
He went on another drug binge. Like, he died, he couldn't deal with it, so he just went down to Mexico.
With it,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Probably would have lost his shit if he went to his mate's funeral.
yeah.
Knowing that he died from, well, I'm assuming it was drugs.
From
right?
drugs. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, doing the shit that they're all doing, like, it'd be like,
It's quite traumatizing.
yeah,
yeah,
it'd be easy just to like clear your mind and just get away from it.
Yeah.
Even though that's fucked up. But yeah. Talking about fucked up shit. You watched Tiger King. You haven't.
I haven't. No.
But have you watched an overview?
Nah.
Okay, I'll
I
give you.
haven't.
I'll give you a
you
short
can
overview, and this is literally all you need to know. This dude is so fucking amazing and fucked up that he made 2 straight men marry him.
That's pretty
What the
crazy.
fuck?
Yeah.
He literally convinced 2 straight men to marry him and like get butt rammed by him for like 10 years.
I don't
Jesus.
think it was
It's
more.
fucking amazing.
It wasn't more of him convincing them. It was them.
wanting to be with tigers.
Why? And them just wanting. In my opinion,
Affection.
those dudes just wanted, like, drugs.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, the guy was
it's a free
cocaine addict.
free
wasn't he?
cocaine. Yeah.
The young motherfucker. What's his name? Travis. Was
Travis. Yeah.
And the other dude.
The show was
fucking wise.
really, really well made.
Oh, it was
I think the documentaries like that where, at the same time it's well made, but at the same time it's kind of bad because it keeps you going because it sways you in opposite directions
Yeah.
so many, but it got overwhelming at times. You're so heavily on
one person's side.
yeah,
And the
Joe
next
Exotic
episode you
side,
meet this
and then you're like, oh, Carol Baskin sucks.
Yeah.
And then you go to Carol Baskin's side, and it's like, well, she actually, like, what she's fighting for, like, makes sense, like, in terms of what Joe's doing.
Yeah.
And then you see how Joe's reacting to what she's doing, and then you're like, how can, like, why would you support this guy?
Were they pitted
And then it's
against
like,
each
oh
other?
my god, Carol Baskin might have killed her husband.
She killed her husband.
Just
I
to...
believe she killed her husband.
So the whole thing is based off him and all these other exotic animal enclosures.
Yep.
The whole series basically covers this lady who tries to take it down.
So she was trying to take it down.
She was trying to take down their exotic
because
enclosures.
it was
but-
unethical with the cubs and
Yeah,
stuff.
but at the same time, she was running her own.
Yeah, she was doing the same
She
thing.
was running her own exotic animal enclosure.
Oh, so she was more of like a
hypocrite.
She was a.
She
He was just a
She
competitor.
was eliminating the competition.
Yeah.
and she
Yeah.
did.
She did.
She
Literally
was
by killing
playing.
her husband to get money to sue them all.
She was playing like 4-dimensional chess.
That's fucked, man.
But the thing about with her husband, which is interesting, like, Joe was saying, oh, he's in the septic tank and yada yada. Oh, the story about the husband, he must have been doing some messed up stuff because one of the business guys he was talking about said like he was digging holes in the backyard just to put money in.
Yeah.
He's going back and forth from, what was it, Costa Rica?
Yeah. He was laundering money. 100%.
He was a drug lord.
Yeah.
I think
100%.
the one thing you can count on in a story like that is that every person involved is just shitty.
It's just fucked up, yeah.
It's just
fucked. Everyone on that show was fucked up. There's no
Everyone's
denying
messed
that.
up.
There's no denying that. Everyone on that show was just...
But
it just got better and better every episode. Like, every episode would finish and you're like, it just can't get worse than this. And then it just got worse. Like, they got more fucked up. Like, more fucked up shit happened. you're just watching it like, if these people never existed, the world would not be the same. That's my opinion.
Really?
Like, it's just, I don't know. In my opinion, it's like, he's like that thing, where you like step on an insect, how people believe that shit, where it's like,
butterfly
if this never happened, this wouldn't have happened, or like, this would have changed the world. Dude, Joe Exotic is that person for me, man.
For the worst, though.
He's
right?
just like,
Changed it for the worst.
Like
When
everyone says like, oh, free Joe Exotic. He shouldn't be in jail. It's like, yes, he should.
He fucked up a lot.
He's a criminal.
Yeah, bro. They were just literally birthing cubs to make money.
Yeah. All right, technical difficulties. Our thing cut out when we were talking about old Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic. We stopped at the tiger cubs, right?
We talked for another probably 10 minutes.
Yeah, we talked.
But we mostly talked about 5G conspiracies. Yeah. We'll probably just briefly summarize what we said.
People disagree with stupid theories.
We disagree with it. And basically what it was Wuhan had 5G towers, which was sending out 5G signals. Yeah. And then people said because they built those towers during the time of when coronavirus happened, they thought it was that causing the virus. Yeah. And then they attacked Bill Gates because, Microsoft and 5G, but he's actually
he's the one that's doing the most.
He's putting the most money into preventing the virus.
Yeah. And also the way the conspiracists think it works is there was the original theory, which was that the government uses the waves to spread the virus, which is obviously impossible because the virus can't attach to electromagnetic signals. And then once that became common knowledge, what people pivoted to was that the coronavirus signal weakened your immune system to allow the coronavirus to attack you better. So those are the two very funny theories. But then what I was saying just before we cut out was that in New Zealand, we've got the same people, the coronavirus conspiracy theorists. And they've attacked about 20 towers in New Zealand. And as it turns out, none of them have been 5G towers, actually. So
4G or
just internet
just
towers.
cell phone towers in general. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. What was the other question we got?
It was the NBA.
Oh, it was the NBA. Oh, okay, we talked about that.
I think actually there's something quickly we could discuss about like related to Tiger King that I kind of wanted to pick your brains about. Was because obviously there's always that talk you can't raise and pet wild animals and all this stuff. What do you reckon your take is on like raising a wild animal? Like, do you reckon you can tame and make a wild animal, say a tiger or a lion or a wolf or something like that, a pet?
No.
Because I've seen a lot of people that do it, and they literally there's nothing bad that happens to them.
Because you don't see them drugging the hell out of the animals.
True.
Well, they're only doing that when they have to move them because it's just safer.
No, I would say a lot of those animals are juiced up most of the time.
Have you seen the South African dude that has like his own like safari with like hyenas, lions, and all that sort of stuff?
No.
Dude, I can't remember his name, but you should watch him on YouTube, man. And he's always with them, just like cuddling them, playing with them. It's insane.
Yeah, I think I've seen the guy that you're talking about.
But those animals cannot be tamed to... I mean, they can be tamed to a point where they might like the... Yeah. But, I mean, flick of the switch.
So, why? Why do you think that you can't tame them? Like, I have my opinion, but I want to hear, like, your guys' take.
Can't tame them as in...
Well, not tame them, but why you can't raise them like a dog or a cat.
Okay.
Honestly...
Like a baby.
In terms of, like, legal rights, or...
No, in terms of just them being...
Just being able to...
If you took away all, like, bullshit laws and stuff. If you just went into the jungle...
I think it's just,
up a baby.
the... What do they call it? The food natural triangle, instinct? Or what is it called?
The natural instinct. Like, the hierarchy.
The chain where, you have predators and... I mean, tigers literally are just there to, hunt.
But that's the whole tigers, like thing.
If you had 2 tigers, bred them, the baby tiger, took that baby tiger away straight away and kept it for yourself,
Yeah.
it would know nothing else other than what you have taught it.
And because you're feeding it as well.
Yeah.
That's the thing. From all the videos I've seen on YouTube of people not having cats illegally, but looking after cats, is that they're really friendly.
Yeah, they are.
Like, they're really friendly to humans. And the other thing is, they know how to play. You know, like they know the difference between playing and then trying to kill something.
Very territorial as well, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my point is where you can't, I guess, tame them or whatever you want to call it, is the fact it's not just their natural instinct, because if they don't know nothing else, I don't think you can claim natural instinct, because if we weren't raised how we were raised, we wouldn't know any different. So I think it's the same, but for them, it's more like a dominance thing, right? Like when you see a tiger, right, that's 2 years old, it's fucking massive.
It's big.
And it could take you out if it wanted to.
If it wanted to, yeah.
And I reckon they know from that point of view. They're like, I am superior, like, to this person, like, physically. Like, if I wanted to, they it's like they figure out that they're the more dominant person.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that's the difference. They flick that switch where it's like they know, okay, like, I am actually the more dominant person here. You know? All you've got is a fucking gun that can, you know, tranquilize me. But at the end of the day, I am superior to you.
The thing about cats and dogs being able to be, you know, tamed and raised as pets, you know, you get a cat, it kind of wanders around and, you know, walks around, and you can cuddle with it sometimes. And dog is a good companion. You can take it out of the house, you can go for a run, you know. It can get along with people. But the thing with, you know, you raise a tiger, you're basically putting a killing machine in the hands of someone. And given a situation where, you know, the tiger would maul someone, that tiger's just going to get shot afterwards anyway. And you're basically putting, you got a situation where if you put these two things together, and the worst outcome, they're both going to die. So why would you want that?
Yeah.
I certainly see that you can tame a tiger to, you know, it'll like you if you keep feeding it and doing all that kind of stuff. But I mean, what's stopping a human from just like, you can't justify a lot of murders and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So what's stopping a tiger from just eventually flipping the switch and being like, you know, I'm the alpha compared to this thing.
They realize they're
Let
dominance.
me kill it.
It's more like they come to that realization. It's like, well, hang on, I'm fucking bigger than you. I got canines that could literally, with one bite, tear off your fucking arm.
Yeah.
Like, my paws are the size of your head. Like, you know, it's like they just realize that, I reckon. And I think that's the difference. It's not like they realize they're like their natural, you know, they have to hunt for their food, because it's like they don't know any different. It's just they come to realize. It's like if you had a massive growth spurt and turned into like a 6'6" fucking 200-pound dude, you're gonna be like, I'm fucking way more physically dominant than people. It's just like natural, right? You think, oh, I'm superior to you, like I'm bigger than you. I think that's the main difference. Like that's how I see it, at least. But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the one animal that you definitely don't want to keep is chimpanzees.
Those things will maul you.
Those things go crazy.
Starts chucking fucking apples at you.
Taking shit at you.
Shit at you. Yeah.
And the fact that they're so human-like as well, and at the same time like marginalized, is like they just go crazy. And then from what I've heard, they're so strong.
They're fucking strong.
I've heard they like rip people's arms off.
Yeah, they're fucking strong. They are
Humans have a point, you know. Like UFC, you submit someone, you're not really trying to break their arm. You're trying to put them in a position where they're just going to give up. Yeah. Whereas chimpanzees,
they don't give a fuck.
Chimpanzees,
full force. Just
is that an arm?
Yeah.
It's not anymore.
It's mine now.
It's my beating weapon. But I was actually going to raise that question quickly if we have enough time. Who do you reckon?
Yeah, we'll probably wrap up in like 5 minutes.
Who do you reckon will win in a fight? Grizzly bear or a silverback gorilla?
Ooh, after seeing Revenant, probably a grizzly bear.
I haven't really
seen a.
That's a good question.
I haven't seen a silverback fight before. That's
grizzly bear is about 400 to 500 pounds bigger.
Okay.
And it's fucking quick, and it's got a lot of strength behind it. But
silverback is like the one that goes like sideways, right?
A gorilla has thumbs.
Thumbs, yeah. straight in the
gorilla has
eyes.
thumbs, man.
So you
It
think,
can grab, it can
Grizzly
hold.
bear?
I think a grizzly bear.
A silverback can grab and hold,
Silverbacks.
but a silverback is. I mean, a grizzly is just fucking massive, and
Yeah.
A
know,
grizzly
just
bear
relentless.
can, like do all that kind of stuff, but a gorilla can like grapple and
that's what I'm saying.
like be able to like
That's what I'm saying. Like, are you taking the wrestler?
DDT,
More,
RKO,
more than just grappling, their reach. You know how important fighting is. Grizzly bears have like arms like maybe this long, whereas gorillas have long ass like monkey arms.
But if a grizzly like got close enough to a gorilla, oof, I don't know. That thing's massive, bro. One hit and that.
One swipe. I don't know. Gorillas are just so huge. A gorilla would do the move where it jumps at you and just double punches you. I reckon the grizzly it could get knocked out instantly.
switches stance to southpaw and hits you with an uppercut.
Have you seen the video on YouTube? There's a kid like
oblique kick.
Yeah. Superman punch
Look
from
at
the
me techniques.
silverback.
Leg kick, body kick, head kick. Oh my god.
Oh, look at this guy go! Oh, he's out! He's out! He's out!
anyway.
Oh, he's
anyway.
taking a beating.
Let us know if you got this far. Let us know in the comments who you think would win the fight.
A silverback.
I still think a grizzly.
Let us
in my
know
opinion.
and why.
And
why.
I'm not denying a gorilla. I think there's a definite what was the word I'm looking for? Argument for a gorilla, just because I think it's more like adaptable. Like, it's got thumbs, it can grab, it can do all that. But I just think the size of a grizzly would just overpower.
Okay.
Yeah. But we have to wrap it up because
Wrap
songs
it
of the
up.
week or songs of the quarantine.
Songs of the
songs of the
quarantine.
quarantine. That's a good question. I want to give 2 songs just because it's been.
I've got a honorable mention, and then I've got an actual. So my honorable.
Yeah, you go first. You go. Yeah, why don't you go first?
I'll go first. So I listened to mostly. I was saying before the podcast, I listened to mostly like this 80s kind of synthwave music. There isn't really a song that I have because it's all quite similar. But the whole, I'll just pick out a song. The whole entire genre of synthwave is my song. It's like a really cool like 80s kind of electronic music, which is really soothing. It's like lo-fi kind of, like low fidelity, kind of like relaxing tunes, which kind of, take a bit of stress off the shoulders. But the entire genre of synthwave is my
So !play 80s synth 2 hours Discord.
The smoothest jazz of all time.
Play the smoothest bloody jazz. So you've got a whole genre.
The whole genre
like
of synthwave.
So my honorable mention is Fans by Kings of Leon.
Oh, Kings.
I love Kings of Leon.
Is that the?
No, we were listening to that before. But Fans, you've probably heard it on the radio a while back.
Yeah.
The song's from a long time ago, but man, it's such a good jam. Anytime it comes on, I'm just in a good mood, like vibing it. But my other song of the quarantine is Encore by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I was gonna say it has to be a Red Hot Chili
Yeah,
Peppers. You've
I
been
love
listening
that
to a lot of
song.
them.
I have. Yeah.
What yourself, Mitch?
My honorable mention, which I was telling you, for the first 3 weeks or so of quarantine, I was listening to a shit ton of Tash Sultana. But my honorable mention is Nothing But a G Thing by Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. I've been jamming that a lot. But my song, I'd say, like, I've been jamming just fucking nonstop since the album came out, is Go Crazy by Chris Brown and that Young Thug mixtape / album.
It's a good hit.
I've been jamming that song.
Sorry, I
was gonna say
it's a
smashing album.
It's a smash hit.
Smashing album.
It's a knockout.
Album.
What a way to
It's a knockout.
What a way to knock out the podcast with that one.
Yeah. Well, I really have to go, but thanks, guys. It's been good.
Good to be back.
Finally being back. Yeah.
Back on a schedule. So we'll do this one will be Sunday night, and then given circumstances, if we all get jobs and we're back to it, we'll probably do Mondays again.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
How good.
I'll add in the pointless phrase of saying, leave a comment and tell us what you want to do or what you want to hear from us on the podcast. And if you made it this far, thank you.
Yeah.
For real.
Thank you.
How good?
How good.
How good.
Good night, people.
Stay safe, people.